Hey you guys, German37X here, bringing you an Eldpack update video. Now, it's been a while since I've done one of these. Honestly, there's just been a drought of uploads lately, and I've been doing a lot of work. Me and a few other people in the Discord have been hammering away at a lot of Eldpack textures lately. For anyone who, thought maybe lack of uploads related to Eldpack, I mean, it's been, I think, like 9 years almost. Like 8.5 years. The texture pack is honestly alive and more active and getting more production than it has in a long time as of lately. We've had a couple really prolific members pop up, as well as some of at least one of the people who's been around for a while helping out. So today I mostly just want to show off some of the work that it's mostly been an effort of me, Buster, and Big G, as well as, so those are the two new people, as well as Freem, who's done constant support for years and is one of the maintainers of the GitHub. So it's kind of us four doing most of the work, as of right now at least. But I just kind of wanted to show off some of the stuff that we've all been working on. I'll be sure to give credit for each of the people accordingly for their contributions. Big G is mostly working on Bedrock, as well as helping me do some maintenance stuff that I'll go over a little bit later. Buster is kind of the big texture contributor as of late. He's done just dozens and dozens and dozens of textures, really going above and beyond. So without further ado, and then of course I pick up mostly the easier stuff because I'm not nearly as talented as them. First, and in my opinion, one of the most impressive is the glazed terracottas here. So of course we also have regular terracottas done. We have black. We have all the colored concretes. We have all the concrete powders. The powders, I believe, are succumbing to natural texture rotations. That's why they look like that. These don't quite tile right. I hadn't actually seen them in game, so all of this work is done by Buster. I hadn't seen these in game yet. They're close, but they don't quite tile right. So I'm probably gonna run this by him after this video. Terracotta, I believe this was done intentionally with the lines. That was intentional. Glazed terracottas are something I wasn't sure was ever going to get done, to be honest, just because of the nature and complexity of them. But they're all done, sure enough. So these four are the newest, but honestly, I think my favorite. So they all were made, most of them were made with pairs in mind. So this is brown and gray. This is, I think, cyan and white. So on and so forth. They were all made in pairs, which I really like that concept of kind of having them grouped together. This was made in a set of 4. As you can see, we've got white, orange, purple, and magenta, all depicting celestial bodies. One of the reasons it was done in this particular way, which I really like, let me see if I can do it, kind of have to make sure I'm oriented correctly. You could do kind of pseudo phases of the moon, so this is kind of like a crescent. You can do like a waxing and waning crescent moon. You could do kind of you could do sort of a rising sun effect, if I can do it right. So it sort of looks like a rising sun, like over like a sunrise or a sunset on a body of water or something. I absolutely love these textures. These are some of my favorite in the pack now, to be completely honest. Absolutely fantastic work there. As I said, here we've got brown and gray. Kind of the primary color is the color of the actual color. So this is more brown than gray. This is more gray than brown, etc. For these, for white and cyan, we've got black and yellow here, red and pink, blue and light blue, I believe. Yeah, and then green and lime green. This is the only one I think. So initially, these ones and these four here were kind of all in the same style. They kind of were all just like single tile, basically. So I'm hoping at some point that Buster will update these as well, because I think green and lime green could look really nice in a bigger canvas. But as is, they're perfectly nice textures. So these are all of the lit and unlit candles. These were done by me, actually, based off of the item arts that actually were already done. I don't recall who did the item sprites before. I think it may have been Freem, because that was done longer ago than I was keeping track of. So I went and did the actual models for those. I think they came out pretty alright. It's really hard to add an Eld style to a literal too wide texture. This whole row of stuff was kind of done, this was all stuff by me. These textures are not new. What's new, well, the boats actually were all completely updated, because some of them had like old default textures. I'll try and show some pictures on screen. Some old default textures that weren't even used anymore. And the ores on a lot of them looked really odd and didn't really make any sense. And so basically those were all fixed, as well as the actual chest GUI. I did a lot of work with scrolls. I did a big, basically boats and GUI update, as well as chest textures. You can see the locks look a little bit nicer. The ender chest looks a little bit better in the locks, mostly the locks. And this whole row of textures is a lot of GUI updates that I did, basically fitting the scrolls to a lot of these either didn't have scrolls, or the scrolls were the incorrect length. Right, this is using the 1.20 smithing table, not this one. So this doesn't look right in 1.19, but we have older versions on the forum post anyway, so not going to go into detail on all of these, but basically a lot of these were slight tweaks. I want to do a bit of a larger GUI overhaul at some point that kind of changes the texture, also change the color of this one, because I mean it was just like it was different from the chest, but not this, so I changed it to actually match the shulker color. I want to make a bigger update where like the item hopper is an iron GUI, is like an iron based item, you know, so I want to change the GUI to kind of match that. Quite a significant rework of the villager GUI, actually. I did most of it, and I think Freem touched it up recently with the bar outline here, which I think doesn't quite. I guess it looks nice that way. Yeah, I might shrink this down one personally, but overall really nice stuff there. This didn't have scrolls before, etc., etc. But yeah, I want to do like a material overhaul at some point. Maybe add some stone to this, like how there's some iron on the blast furnace, which I think is really nice. I did not do that. Make this iron, you know, just a few little tweaks. Maybe add some wood to the stone cutter, just to match how they look visually. Also, minor update, cows did not have horns before. I don't know why. No cows had any horns. So that's a bit of a mystery to me. This was another one I wasn't sure we'd ever get. This is another texture by Buster. The Crimson and Warped Stems. He went for a very interesting look here. Instead of like the kind of pulsing of the original, it's kind of more of like energy flowing through them. I think it looks really nice. It's very, very pleasing to watch. Actually covered it inadvertently. Here's what the tops look like. This was just like an old texture that got brought in the nether quartz, or there was some shitty one that I made that was in the pack before this. This is the only thing I actually posed this question in the Discord just earlier today. If we want to change the insides and some of the stuff here to kind of match the color, you know, to match more of like this deeper blue. So I posed that question. I think that I like that idea a bit, but then I'm worried that the crimson planks are going to look too much like the mahogany planks, which are also a deep red, you know, so we'll have to kind of play that by ear, but anyway, these are Froglights by Buster, touched up recently to make them a little more vibrant in color. I think he's talking about even adding it. Now that he's figured out how to do animated blocks, I think he's kind of vying to add animations to more things that aren't normally animated. After he figured out, because I think he like doubled the frames of animation at least on this thing, on the stems, to make them look good. make them flow more seamlessly. So I think he's thinking of adding like a dripping effect to these, so that'll be interesting to see. These, I believe one of these was done already. I want to say gold or iron, so I went and did the other two. Doesn't quite tile well. I guess it's not bad. You know, it doesn't tile. It tiles pretty okay. I think it needs a little bit of tweaking now that I've actually seen it in game. This video has introduced a few spots to me where it's like, where there's areas that I think need to be kind of tweaked a little bit. Back here, some more stuff by Buster. This was so these are the operator so everything here is done. Also, these light textures I think were also done by Buster. You don't see them, obviously you don't see them in game, but they have the nice icons here now. As well as all of these, so we got command blocks, jigsaw blocks. I don't even know what the hell this stuff's used for, to be honest. Structure blocks, those two I really am not familiar with. And he redid, we still have access to them in the alternative textures, but these are the new vision for the regular, I think repeating, or no, chain and then repeating command blocks. So, a lot more distinct looking. I didn't mind the more vanilla styled ones before, but they're still available for people if they prefer them to switch them in relatively easily. I'll go over that a little bit later. Here we've got coral, all of the coral blocks. This was another one that I thought might take a while, and you know, it was a lot of work certainly, but Buster once again came through. Every single version of every coral, including all of the dead versions of all of this stuff. Oh, I already have it. So yeah, all the dead ones, they all look really nice. I love the coloring. He based them not off of their color, which in Bedrock they're named based off of color, but they're off of what they actually, so tube, you know, this is actually what tube core looked like. This is kind of actually what brain core looks like, etc. So very, very cool. Gives them all a very distinct look and coloring, distinct color palettes. I absolutely love all of these. There's just a couple of random textures here that also done by Buster, chiseled deep slate, and the honey block is fixed now. Okay, this one I believe looks like the melon texture the melon JSON didn't get brought in. Yeah, there it is. Okay. There we go. So now the melon uses the bottom texture, which has always been there, but was lacking a JSON file to take advantage of it. I changed this. I'm not sure if I like this, because technically these are different textures than the tops, but I'm a little bit iffy on that. So we do have some partial Optifine support for connected textures, as well as custom GUI. So you'll notice things look a little bit different. We'll start over here. Of course, the sandstone one I did forever ago. I redid that for red sandstone as well. Of course, down here I didn't change this yet. This is the main reason I changed the colors, is because these don't connect on CTM. I think I'd rather make these connect over CTM than just add a new, arbitrarily slightly different texture, but... so anyway, of course, glass has always been done. I went through and did all of the other glass colors. Of course, panes are lumped in with that as well. The bookshelf has been done for a while. I just rewatched my video where I actually made this texture, so that was interesting. And I also went and did all of the ore blocks. So some of them, I think, these three already were seamless, but all these other ones were not. So I went and did these. Spent a while tweaking them. I'm still not sure I'm 100%. Obviously, redstone block that one's pretty easy. All the rest are a little bit less easy. I think they all turned out pretty okay. I wanted to make it so that all four of these meshed with each other and nothing else, but I did not. I couldn't find a way to do it easily, so I scrapped it for now and just have them tile with themselves. But that's something, if anyone's familiar with CTM, let me know. Now, if we go over here, custom ender chest GUI. Let's see what else. And I think it was just ender chest and the shulker boxes. So oh yeah, that was name testing. So every single shulker box now has a custom colored GUI. So all of this stuff can be seen with Optifine, as long as, so these, you need custom GUI. For the stuff over there, you need connected textures. That reminds me, I didn't go over these yet. I also did an attempted run of connected textures for all of the woods, every single wood. Every single log, sorry. Some of them already kind of were, like this, like acacia, kind of already tiles fine. Mangrove already tiles fine. But you can see when I place these down, it kind of tweaks the texture a little bit. They're not perfect by any means, but it's a step in the right direction. I spent a lot of time on them, and they still only look okay, but... Also, the stripped logs, I forgot, were very recently redone by Buster to actually look like stripped logs and not just like desaturated versions of the originals. So, those do not have the CTM support because I didn't have time to go and do them yet. But here you can kind of see CTM on some of these, all these new ones. And I also did CTM on the tops, which this is... You know, it's okay. I've seen texture packs that do it where it like expands the rings of different sizes, but I didn't want to do you could do CTM with only like 5 textures now. I took the easy way out. I just realized I've been doing this instead of... Oops. I took the easy way out. It's a slight improvement, very slight. It was very quick to do, so I was like, I'll go for a slight improvement and then worry about doing something a bit more robust later. You can kind of see, you know, at least the main outline is still on the outside. It looks fine, you know. It gets the point across, I think, but it could be better. So that's all of the stuff I have to show you in-game. Obviously, I didn't show every single texture that's changed lately, but this is a good summary of the last, like, 4 to 6 months, I would say, of effort on all our parts. Now, I want to show some stuff outside of the game. Let's see, we'll go here. This is my local Eldpack repo. I recently recompiled and kind of have been expanding the alternatives, and I pushed it to the GitHub so that it's more visible. Basically, this is just where a ton of alternate textures live, because, you know, we've had contributors from all sorts of different people with all sorts of different artistic visions. So this actually is one of the first showing of Eldpack. So this is Eld's work, but in a very different style. I think some of the grass textures, the wood, a lot of this stuff is very noticeably different. I think it's really cool. Potentially, I might try to break this out into its individual textures at some point. This was made for some mod, I think. More building blocks mod, but these kind of work as alternative textures as well. And then in here is more the area that I've been expanding. So even coral blocks, the coral block alternatives I'd mentioned. Let's see. I've done some organizing here. The original stripped log textures and my CTM support for them are all in here. As a general rule, if a texture is changed in a way that isn't necessarily a straight up improvement, I move it here in case people want to use it, you know. So here we have diamond, emerald, lapis blocks that are bordered. Almost tempted to have these as the default and then have this back here as CTM support, but yeah, so it's always interesting to kind of look through some of these, you know, see what kind of textures other people have done. On a similar-ish train of thought, if we go into assets here, Minecraft, you now see that the Aether Mod Support has been brought back in. This was in response. I took this initiative because of the recent announcement of Aether Legacy being revived and reworked on and released very recently. So this actually was... So basically the original textures have always been in old stuff. Let's see, assets, Aether. But of course they're arranged completely differently than they are now. You know, in all sorts of different folders compared to how they're organizing it now. So Big G actually went through it as well as doing Bedrock stuff, he's been helping get some of the Aether Mod stuff set up. So he kind of reorganized all the Aether textures, and then I went through and gave it another pass and found the ones that weren't actually different, that were just kind of the original textures that were kind of just left in there. So these are all these are extras that I'm not sure I actually use. So these are all of the Eldpack support for the Aether Mod. There's a lot of stuff missing if we go to the actual Aether Mod. There's certainly a lot we're missing. You know, this is far from complete mod coverage, but these are all the textures that I did way back when I was first pushing for Aether Mod support. So it's back in the pack for anyone who plays with Aether Mod. We have most of the most common texture. I think, for me, doing the natural textures is some of the most important stuff, because that's just, while you're exploring, that's kind of what you're seeing the most, you know? So, you know, there's still plenty that we're missing, but we have a good amount of the natural textures, most of the natural textures, and a decent amount of some of the other textures. This might be where I put some of my effort in the near future towards Eldpack, is getting at least all of the stuff that I can do done. So I think most of the textures I can probably do. If we look at construction, like the quick soil, I think needs a touch up anyway. I don't think it looks great. But like the pane, the CTM support, the Skyroot stuff, I can definitely do all this. Skyroot bookshelf, Skyroot the bookshelf, CTM, these blocks, I can do a lot of this stuff. So this is something I'm going to be expanding on in the near future. Again, I don't know if I'll be doing videos on it necessarily, but I just wanted to make this as kind of a general update. You know, Eldpack is being worked on quite actively. We've got a lot of plans for future improvements. I think that's going to do it for this video. So thank you everyone very much for watching. If you like this video, please like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. Let me know in the comments what your thoughts are on all of this. You know, if you'd like to see more Eldpack videos, what sort of textures you think you'd like to see us do. Check the description. I'm going to try to remember to make it specifically a link to the Eldpack channel of my Discord. We've got a to-do list there for anyone who does want to contribute. I try to keep the to-do list pretty up to date. It also does, I guess I can just show that quickly. Let's take a look here. So we've got the to-do list. Oh, I didn't go over it. There's some 120 stuff that I can't show because I'm not playing on 120. I did a lot of the cherry textures and some of the bamboo, the signs, at least for bamboo. But anywho, so this is a current to-do list of all of the things that still need to be done. This is not done, actually. I didn't update that yet. So we've got a lot of 120 stuff, a lot of older stuff, like some villagers stuff, some GUI updates, some random one-offs. I can't believe that double tall grass has never been custom and nobody noticed it until recently. Oceanus in the Discord has been helping us spot a lot of things we've missed also. He's been another, hasn't made textures, but is another contributor in a different way. If we got on here, I did add Aether Mod to-do list. I haven't color-coded it yet. It's, you know, I like to make it a little more readable, but you can check that out in the Discord. You can check out the GitHub and the forum posts, all linked in the Discord, and all will be linked in the description as well. Or at least the forum page will be linked in the description, as well as the Discord. Check out my Twitch. I'm considering live streaming some you know, if I ever want to do just sit down and do some Eldpack progress, I might stream it every once in a while over there, but I stream a bunch of other stuff. A bunch of other games. We do stream some Minecraft pretty often, actually. I'm doing the Super Hostile map with my buddy Sacred. But yeah, appreciate y'all for your support, both of my channel and of Eldpack. And yeah, let me know if you want to see more content like this in the future. And I will see you guys later.